Hi folks, this is Michelle with Training to Be Balanced. I have a T-band workout for you today. So if you have 1 or 2 T-bands, that would be great. We're gonna start with a band above our knees. So we're gonna go through bridges, where we're on our back, raising and lowering the hips. We're gonna turn that into clamshells, donkey kicks, fire hydrants, and a half kneeling chop. So we're gonna go 30 seconds on, 8 seconds off. So you're gonna start on your back, band above your knees, raising and lowering the hips. Here we go. So try and make sure that your knees are tracking forward. Shoulder blades are pushing into the floor. You could also do this single leg. Maybe we'll do that round 2. Giving an extra little squeeze of the glutes up top, pushing the heels into the ground. And coming to your right side, clamshells. We can open the knee and close, open and close. You could also do another variation of lifting the knee, lifting the heel. Lift the knee, lift the heel, close the knee, close the heel. Maybe we'll do that one round 2. Five seconds. Coming on to all fours. Actually, come down to your forearms. And we're gonna do donkey kick with that left side. Bring that left knee up and just small little pulses or reaching towards the ceiling. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Make sure that foot is dorsiflexed or toes reaching in the direction of the shins. Trying to keep that left heel reaching to the sky. And fire hydrants. Coming up to the hands. And that left leg going out to the side. As though you were a dog marking your territory on a fire hydrant. And trying to not let the legs completely come together, keeping some space between the knees. Staying on that left side, lifting. Now just to prep on this next one, you're gonna put it around left ankle, or excuse me, the left ball of that foot and your right ankle. And you're gonna come into a half kneeling. This is where if you had a second band, you could always put it around the wrist. And we're going into a chop. So really making sure that left glute is on. Try not to let that right knee come towards the midline of the body. This is our half kneeling chop. And back to our bridges. Bring the band back up to the knees. And let's go single leg this time. Extending one leg long, raising and lowering the hips and that leg. And I'll switch us halfway through. And switch. Trying to make sure that the hips stay nice and level or square. That the extended leg side, that hip, you don't want it dipping to the ground. And clamshells, lie on your left side. And you can open and close. I guess we should do whatever you did on the other side. Trying to make sure that your hips stay stacked, that the hips aren't splaying open. And if you did raising the knee, raising the heel, lower the knee, lower the heel. Do that this time around. Donkey kicks coming onto your forearms. Give the wrist a little bit of a break. And bring that right heel up towards the ceiling and small little pulses. And I know depending on what type of band you have, or what type of material your pants are, the band does slide. I have the band kind of slightly underneath my knee. Keep reaching that right heel to the ceiling. And fire hydrants. Mark your territory, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up to the hands and allowing that knee. Using those external rotators of that right hip. Making sure that left side is also on, stabilizing. And then 8 seconds is our half kneeling chop. So it'll come down to the right ball of the foot and left ankle. And again, if you have that second band around the wrists, we chop to the open side. It's a diagonal chop here. We're going to pause our timer for just a moment. And your band is going to come to the wrist for our first part of this next section. We're going to do a field goal. That's where you are keeping the band at the wrist. You're trying to keep the wrist, the elbows, and the shoulders all in line. And we are saying, it's good. Okay, this is what wants to happen. You are going to try and fight to keep those elbows in and those wrists wide. So that's our field goal. Next, we're going to come down to a high plank for a patty cake. So we're here. Hands are going to be underneath the shoulders, and you'll reach right hand towards 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, let it come back, 5 o'clock, stabilize. Left hand will reach towards 11, 9, and 7, and you'll continue to alternate. Then you'll come to a tabletop position with the band at the balls of the feet. So you'll lie on your back, or supine tabletop. Hands will reach towards the ceiling, and we're going to have opposite limbs go in opposite directions. So right hand will go up overhead while left leg extends. Right foot stabilizes. And then you'll switch. Left hand up overhead, right foot extending, and stabilize. That's our supine tabletop. Then you're going to turn this into a V-sit. We'll have it be, the band will be around one ball of the foot. Other arm will be extended, and we are going to rub. And then we'll do 30 seconds all on one side, and round 2, we'll switch to the other side. And you're going to keep that band around the balls of the feet. We're going to turn this into a bicycle, where you are lifting your upper back off the ground. You're reaching your armpit towards the knee, and extend. Stabilizing through one side, extension through the other. Next, we're going to turn this into windshield wipers. So you can leave it around the ball of the foot. Arms are going to come out to the side like a T, making sure there's tension between the, or within the band. And legs are going to go to one side, and then obliques are going to pull you back. Legs will go over to the other side, and then those opposite obliques will help pull you back. windshield wipers. And next, we're just gonna lie on the back. Hands are gonna be underneath the glutes. And we're going to have lateral movement here with the legs. We're gonna feel those glutes, folks. So let's get started. We're gonna start with a band at the wrist for our field goal. Again, 30 seconds on, 8 seconds off, 2 times through. Here we go. So you can be kneeling or you could be standing. And you're trying, again, to keep the elbows, shoulders, wrists all on one line. If you wanted to make this more fun, you would do this against a wall, having the arms slide up and slide down. Next is our patty cake. Come down to a high plank. Left hand is going to stay still, and right hand reaches to 1 o'clock, come back, 3 o'clock, come back, 5 o'clock, come back. Right hand stays, left hand moves. 11 o'clock and back. 9, back. 7 o'clock and back. Repeat. Trying not to let the hip rotate up towards the ceiling. Shoulders should start to be feeling some love. And supine tabletop. So bringing this around the balls of the feet or the arches of the foot on your back. And right hand goes up overhead as left foot extends. Left hand goes overhead while right leg extends. And notice what the standing leg, or the leg that is not moving, is doing. Besides maybe shaking. See if you can use those abdominals to help you do this and not just your hip flexors. And let's keep the band around the ball of the left foot. We're going to come to a V-sit. And left hand reaches towards the feet. Right side will row. Staying lifted. Shaking is okay and permitted. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Keep reaching your belly button up and underneath your rib cage. Place the band around the balls of the foot or both arches of the foot. Lie on your back, bicycles. When you extend, right leg long, right armpit comes towards left knee. And alternate. Think about reaching, like I said, the armpit and not the elbow, so we're not cranking on the neck. Trying not to let the shoulder blades touch the ground or rest. And windshield wipers. Keeping the hand around the ball of the foot. Arms can come out to the side like a T. Palms up, push those shoulder blades into the ground. Make sure there's about a foot of space between the feet. Adding some tension to that band. I want you to try and leave your ribs in contact with the ground. Again, check in with yourself. Do I still have tension on the band? And keep the band right where it is. Extend the legs long. Hands can be underneath the glutes. And lateral movement with the feet. So notice your abdominals. Are they poofing out like that loaf of bread? Try and knit your abdominals together so we flatten them out. You don't have to leave your head lifted. You could actually let it rest. Up to you. We have 10 seconds remaining. Never letting the feet come closer than about 8 inches. And field goal. Band comes to the wrist. And again, like I said, you can do this kneeling, you could do this standing, as long as you're trying to keep shoulders, elbows, and wrists all on the same line. And what really makes this fun is if you do place your forearms against a wall, sliding straight up and straight down while maintaining contact with the wall the whole time. Elbows. Patty cake, keep the band at the wrist, come down to that high plank, and right hand will stay still. Left hand reaches to 11 o'clock, back to touch, 9 o'clock, touch, 7 o'clock, touch. Right hand, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and repeat. So check in with body, head to tail, shoulders down, lats glued, glutes on, abdominals lifted, and probably some shaking. All right, bring that the band around the balls of the feet for our supine tabletop. Opposites reach opposite. Right hand goes up overhead, left leg extends. These are not meant to be fast. Exhale on your extension. 10 seconds. And keeping that band around the ball of the right foot, we have our V-sit with our row. Right hand extends towards the feet, extending out the crown of the head. Left elbow comes towards left ribs. Seconds. Reach your sternum towards the toes. Band around the ball of both feet. Bicycles on your back. And when right leg extends, right armpit comes to left knee. Again, trying to stay lifted, leaving the upper back off the ground, and you get an extra little oblique crunch when you rotate. 4, and 1. Windshield wipers. Arms out to the side like a T, legs straight up, about at least a foot between both feet, adding tension to the band. Inhale as the legs go laterally. Exhale, bringing them back to the midline. So when legs go to the right, keep that left shoulder glued to the ground. Trying to remember to have palms up if you can, engaging the posterior side of the shoulders. And our legs are extended, supine lateral movement. You could also turn these into swimmers, but then your band kind of might get a little wonky, but you could definitely go up and down or like a flutter kick. And again, please don't let there be slack in the band when you return back to center or when the legs come back towards the midline. You have 8 seconds, folks. 3, 2, and 1. All right, take a quick water break if you need one. If not, you're going to bring that band up to right above your knees. Sometimes I have an extra band just in case one snaps. Okay. Thanks for being here today, folks. All right, we have our lateral bound. Taking off of one leg, taking off of one foot and landing on the other. Let the hands and the leg come back. You're gonna push up and over and stick. That is our lateral bound. Squats. You can choose to just squat in place. You can choose to stay low and walk forward with our squat, walk backwards with our squat. That's gonna be fun. Or you can even choose to do a side step. Ooh, all sorts of variations. Next, we're gonna have our mountain climbers. We're in a high plank and hopefully your band doesn't roll up the leg. And there is a little touch here. Mountain climbers. You could also do 4 mountain climbers and 4 open close. That would be fun. And we have our, here, I do have a side step squat for you folks. So you're gonna be in a low squat and we're just going to side step. Small, tiny steps. Back and forth. And, yeah. This is one for our last one, our half kneeling to a squat position. I normally raise my band up just a bit towards the thighs, and you're gonna be at because it rolls. It also helps if your bands are nice and clean and don't have a whole lot of dust on them or hair. But it'll be a half kneeling, coming up to a squat, to a half kneeling, coming up to a squat, back to half kneeling. All right, so starting with our lateral bound. 30 seconds on, 8 seconds off. Here we go, folks. Begin. So remember, use the swing legs and the arms. Push up and over, stick it. So you're not just going left and right. I do want you to think about getting up and over. If you don't want to jump, don't. You could just do a lovely little foot-to-foot glide here. Squats. Let's walk forward and back with this. It'll be lots of fun. So feet are at least shoulder width apart, toes are turned out to your discretion. Do you get a few squats? Maybe you stay low and you walk forward. If you don't have a whole lot of space, you take 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Try to keep that torso lifted. Staying low. In 8 seconds, turning into our mountain climbers. So since we have the band on, yeah, why not? Let's add some open close or V out, V in. So we'll go 4 mountain climbers, and then 4 open close. And repeat. Try and keep the shoulders down, away from the ears. I can't talk and count at the same time. And our side step squat. Let's try and flatten out that band. Side step, squat. Staying low, as low as what's comfortable for you. You could also just always hold in place. Make sure those knees are hopefully tracking your toes. Toes 2 through 5. So don't allow it to come towards the midline of the body. Make those knees go out to the corners of the room. And our half kneeling position to a squat. So having one knee down, come up to a squat, other knee comes down. Coming up to a squat and my band is rolling. Oh, doesn't feel so good. When it rolls, the exercise is not so bad. Making sure that knee comes down to touch. And our lateral bound. Starting back at the beginning. Push Up and over and stick it. The hands and the leg come back, the swing leg. Give you a little up to get back up and over. Next is our squats. Walking forward, walking back. So staying low. Oh, you know what would be really fun? Jump squats. Yes, for some extra fun. Why not? We only have 18 seconds remaining. You want to get your heart rate up a little bit, right? In 5 seconds, we turn into mountain climbers. 4 mountain climbers, 4 open close. Okay. Come on down, folks. High plank. Or you could do this on your forearms if you so choose. Try not to let the hips come super high. Reaching out the crown of the head. Trying not to round the spine. Side step squat. Unroll that band. And stay low. So again, I don't care how far we go. Make sure those knees are reaching out, trying to keep a nice flat back. Maybe you challenge yourself and say, Michelle, you could actually be doing this about 3 inches lower. We only have 10 seconds. All right, half kneeling to a squat. Whew, stay, band, stay. Okay, it's probably gonna roll. Like I said, it helps if there's no dust on your band. Not a whole lot of lint. That way it's clean, it'll stick to your clothing. Coming down all the way to allow that knee to touch the ground to a squat. Should be feeling some love in those legs. All right. Take the band off. Quick water if we need it. Whew. And we're gonna do a deadlift with this lovely band. If you have 2 bands, you can do it with both arms. You will stand, so the band is gonna be underneath the ball of the foot. Feet about hip width apart. Stand. Inhale as you hinge forward, exhale, stand. If you only have 1 band, which I'm gonna assume most of you do, we'll end up doing 1 each side. So we'll deadlift one side, and then we'll go to our hinge on the other side. Next is gonna be our rows. Again, you're just going to step on the band. And make sure those abdominals are up and in, and we're going to row, row, and then we'll go right into the other side. Our lovely little tricep extension. We're gonna hold the band in like a rack position on one side. Other arm is gonna come up and over the head. And then you're just going to extend. Please hold on to this band with both hands. Maybe keep it down away from the face just in case it snaps. We also have our slingshot, where you're gonna hold or stabilize the band in one hand and pull it back like you're gonna slingshot. Please don't let go. And our half rack overhead press. So one hand is going to stabilize the band. Instead of staying on that one side, I do want you to come kind of across the body because it might be kind of weird if it's over here and you're pulling in front of the face. So we're stabilizing here at the sternum, at the chest, and then you're going to do an overhead press. If you only had an S band to do this, you would just choke up probably on that S band to make that a little bit more challenging. So again, 30 seconds on each side, because if we do numbers, I can't count and teach at the same time. Starting with our deadlift. So let's go left side first. So you're going to put the band around underneath the left ball of the foot. Band is in the left hand, and we're going to deadlift or hinge. Here we go. Inhale as you hinge forward. Exhale as you stand. So pretend like you've got two bands. Pretend like both sides are working here. Making sure those hips go to the wall behind you. Hands are moving straight up and down. And switch that band over to the other foot. Other hand. And smile. Because hopefully we have 4 functioning limbs here. Make sure when you stand, those shoulders are depressed, meaning reaching towards your back pockets. Loading those hamstrings for maximum potential. And your row. Let's just stay on this right side since it's here for our bent over row. I like to have my open hand here when I don't have a weight in the abdominals, okay? So acting like I'm going to receive a gut punch or making sure, just a reminder, those abdominals to stay on. Extending out the crown of the head. Hopefully feeling a lengthening in those hamstrings. And switch that band over to the left side for our left arm row. Woo. That's a good reminder. Make sure your weight is shifted into the heels, but maintaining contact through the balls of the feet and the toes. Tricep extension is up next. So let's keep the band stabilized in the left hand in your half rack position. And right arm comes up and over the head. So think about what your legs are doing here. Are your feet glued to the floor? Are the abdominals braced? Keep those shoulders down away from the ears as that right arm extends. And we'll switch sides, so right hand will be in that half rack position. Left arm will come up and overhead. Oops, forgot what I was doing. And play around with where you're holding the band. Do you want it right in front of your face? Can you have it be up and over the head, the arm? If this isn't good on the shoulder, don't do it. And our slingshot, left hand is going to stabilize, holding it out in front of you. And then that right arm is going to pull back. So make sure that left side is on. Elbows pulling down like a diagonal. and switch sides. So stabilizing through that right side, that right shoulder, and pull back, left side. And as much as you can, try and keep that left arm still. Try not to let it move all over the place. A lot of shoulder stability here. Exhale as you pull. In 5 seconds, our overhead press. So, left hand is going to hold onto the band and stabilize right here across the chest or across the sternum. And then right hand is going to overhead press. So hugging that left side, that left arm into the chest, into the body. Bracing the abdominals as though you're going to get a little karate chop. Think about the quads. Think about the glutes. What are they doing? Oops, started doing my slingshot again instead of my overhead press. And right side will stabilize here across the sternum. And left arm will do your overhead press. Just as though you had my favorite toy, a kettlebell. Think about that arm going straight up, straight down. And if you needed to make this harder, you would just choke up on your band or put more of it in the side that's holding still. Back to deadlift. So left side, stepping on the band, and stand. And again, your feet are just about hip width apart. Your toes are slightly turned out so that when you stand, you can get that extra little squeeze of the glutes. Think about those hips going straight to the wall behind you. Maybe your seat is going towards 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock. And switch to the other side. So again, folks, it may just be a green, yellow, blue, black band, whatever color you have. But pretend like it's 100 pounds that you are deadlifting with both arms on the weight. And our bent over row. So again, keeping those abdominals up and in, loading the back side, the hamstrings, glutes, and row. Extending out the crown of the head. Make sure the entire foot has contact with the floor. Maybe even think about pushing your feet into the ground and out, away from one another. That should fire up the outsides of the leg and the hip as well. Band comes to the left foot. Bent over row. Here we go. Again, feedback for those abdominals. We're not just hanging out here. Please make sure that you are not hyper extending your back. Ooh, doesn't feel good. Again, pushing feet into the floor and away from one another as left side rows. Tricep extension. Left side is going to hold. And that half rack. Right arm comes up and overhead for your lovely little tricep extension. Maybe you want it kind of out here to the side because maybe it comes across in your face. I don't know. Just find a place that's safe. And again, constantly trying to remind myself, where's my stance? you'll switch sides. So right hand is stabilizing. Left arm extension. And if you can, think about the palm on the side that's moving facing out and away from you. And I think about my pinky side, my left pinky, being the leader. Like I'm gonna stamp my hand on the wall to the left of me. I should say stamp my fist. And slingshot. Left arm stabilizing, right hand pulls. So pulling down at an angle or a diagonal. Try and keep those shoulders away from the ears. Glutes are hopefully able to squeeze a quarter and hold on to it. Quarter, who am I kidding? Let's find a $100 bill, folks. Okay, not sure what happened there. I think my thing timed out. Next we have is our half rack overhead press. So stabilize left, right arm overhead press. And again, those glutes. Holding on to that $100 bill, folks. Feet are slightly turned out. So that does make it easier for those glutes to squeeze. Maybe even engage your pelvic floor on some of this, folks, huh? Overhead press. Last one, stabilizing on one side. Across the body and overhead press. Think about the line of movement. That left hand going straight up, straight down. Straight up, straight down. Quickest way from point A to B, straight line. All right, folks, that is all I have for you today. So make sure you take time to get some stretching in and be grateful that we're all still here. Thanks so much. Bye.